Imagine a medicine that can provide long-term relief from chronic ailments. Things like arthritis, migraine headaches, tension headaches, stress, depression, or even more serious ailments like heart disease, Parkinson's, diabetes, and cancer or other infections without adverse side effects. What pill on the market is offering that?
Well, it's not a pill. It's ancient medicine that has been given to millions of people for thousands of years. It's safe, effective, affordable, and fast. And it's from nature, not big pharma. Are you ready to learn more?
Let's go.
Hey, everybody. I'm Allison.
I'm John.
This is episode 56 of the Health Revolution podcast, Unlock Healing, my experience with Kambo medicine. Hi, I'm Allison.
And I'm Dr. John. Here at the Health Revolution podcast, we firmly believe that mental and physical health are linked, and it's impossible to achieve optimal health without addressing both.
Through our expertise as life coaches, we can help you achieve your best healthy self through coaching techniques, looking at our diet, and discussing alternative medicine.
In this podcast, you'll learn how to optimize your nutrition, manage stress, and cultivate a positive mindset.
We'll share personal stories and practical advice along the way. We might laugh, we might cry.
Our goal is to help you live a healthier and happier life, one that's full of energy, vitality, and joy.
Let's embark on this journey towards optimal health and wellness together.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. This is a fun topic for me because I really love delving into ancient medicines and, what we're learning about them and how they're benefiting us.
Yeah, I think it pairs so well with life coaching because with life coaching, we're really working on the brain, our thoughts, and that our thoughts really give us all the results that we have in our life. And so as life coaches, we've been studying more about brain health and neuroscience. And John has come across a lot of healthy medicines that are from the earth, from nature, that he's really excited to share. And Kambo is one of those.
Absolutely. And you know what I love about this medicine with coaching is that, sometimes our thoughts are created by hormonal imbalances in our body and inflammation, which is pretty amazing to think about. So if we can get that under control, the thought work can come a lot easier.
Yeah. Sometimes it's really hard to heal your brain without addressing things that are going on in your body physically. So it's very connected. So John, can you explain what Kambo is? I said in the intro that it's from nature. Tell us how you first came to even learn about it.
Well, my journey takes me to Costa Rica again. And if you recall, what was it? Last year, I think we did this podcast, and there was one that I talked about plant medicines. I journeyed to Costa Rica and I sat in ceremony there with a shaman, and I participated in a plant ceremony for 3 nights. But one of the days prior to ceremony, they were offering this medicine called Kambo.
And you had never heard of it before.
Never heard of it before. I'm like, okay, what
like
the
most
heck is
people,
this?
I think I had never heard of it.
Yeah.
Everyone we've talked to has never heard of it.
Yep. So I started looking into it, and what I discovered and what intrigued me about it was its anti-addiction properties because of my history with addiction in the past, and looking for answers to help make healing from addiction much easier for others that I work with.
I know that's addiction so near and dear to your heart. We work a lot with addiction with life coaching because we try and work on the brain, how the brain is creating this desire for it does not even with drug, but cigarette, alcohol, or
food.
Screen time. Food is a big one. Sugar.
We call those buffers
when
we're talking about coaching because everybody's got them. I mean, for instance, if you're a phone scroller, take that phone away and see how long it takes you to go insane. or food.
So true.
I mean, take away your carbs and see what happens over the next few days.
Yes. Okay. So can you share with us where Kambo comes from and just traditionally how it's been used over the years?
Absolutely. Okay. So I don't know if you're ready to hear this, but Kambo is actually derived from a frog. And really, it's a poison.
Oh, so isn't there a certain psychedelic that's from a frog? This is not the same thing.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, there is another psychedelic, and this is not a psychedelic, but there is a psychedelic that comes from a frog. It's called bufo.
Oh,
or
okay.
5-MeO-DMT. We'll talk about bufo at some point in time, but this was to highlight
I
Kambo.
just wanted to separate that out because I think for me, like when I heard, oh, it's medicine from a frog, the only medicine I had heard that was from a frog was a psychedelic. So I just wanted to be clear, like this is not that. It's a different frog.
No, this is a frog venom. Now,
oh, it's frog venom.
Yes.
So it's not like, is it from the skin?
It's from the skin.
Okay.
Yes. This frog, it's called a giant monkey frog, but this frog secretes a waxy-like substance, which is venomous. So, for instance, if a bird wanted to eat this frog, it's going to find itself pleasantly surprised,
Nice.
or unpleasantly, as it were.
Uh-huh.
And so it's designed to keep this frog safe. But treating diseases and ailments with venoms is not an uncommon thing. We have apotherapy where we're actually using bee sting venom. We use snake venom.
Isn't that what we have already? Like it's mainstream, but immunizations, they give you a little bit of the thing you're trying to become immune to, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, so
it's not an uncommon philosophy of science.
No, some of the first vaccines were created from horse blood. So
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is it? Like, what's the chemical composition of Kambo?
So Kambo is comprised of many, many peptides. Now I know peptide is like a buzzword in the community these days.
Yes.
We're using peptides for weight loss and peptides for muscle gain.
Right.
Peptides to tan. But what we find about peptides is they tend to be safer than actually taking a chemical. And
because they work on your body, like what your body already has.
Correct.
It just increases more of
that.
It
it stimulates your body to do certain things. And these peptides are no different. They're stimulating your body to do certain things.
So like what kind of peptide is it then?
Oh my gosh, the list is extensive. And every year they're uncovering more and more peptides within Kambo.
So just in this one tree frog venom, are a multitude of types of peptides. They all work on your body differently.
Exactly. So they have peptides that lower blood pressure. There's peptides that affect diabetic control. There are peptides that increase your happy hormones. There's peptides that are analgesic, meaning they're going to help as far as inflammation in your body and pain. They do a myriad of things, and they all work in conjunction with one another to heal the body.
To like release the harmful substances, and
that's another thing that
heal
these peptides do.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the unfortunate side effects, and we can talk about this a little bit.
My next question was, what's the process? Like when you did it, what happened?
The major side effect when you go through a Kambo ceremony, and there's some energy work with that as well, and we can get into that, but it does cause some pretty severe vomiting for about 5 minutes or so.
They call it what?
They call it the purge.
The purging. Okay. So
now the purge is really important because, this venom, it gets into your system and it works fast. I mean, we're talking, you're going to feel the effects within about 3 minutes. Okay. It just squeezes all of your internal organs and your lymphatic system and releases toxins that you might have been hiding away for years.
That sounds pretty intense.
It is intense, but it's short.
Like how short?
3
hours?
One ceremony typically lasts for about 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. So, but during that 30 minutes, you're feeling that intensity.
During the 30 minutes, you're feeling that intensity, but after the 30 minutes, you feel wonderful.
Interesting. So physically, a lot of pain, some purging, releasing, that sort of thing.
But I always tell people, choose your pain. Do you want to experience 30 minutes of pain and heal your body, or do you want to experience years of discomfort a little bit at a time and just deal with it and get sicker?
We have a good friend of ours that's on a healing journey, and he's so afraid of the purge.
There's a lot of people that are afraid of throwing up, but I can tell you that purge is one of the best medicines that we can be offered sometimes through plant medication.
I know. It's like, I don't know. And when I was pregnant, I was sick all the time. I felt like I wanted to throw up, and I would do anything in my power to not throw up.
Of course.
Like I hated it. But every time I did throw up, I felt so much better.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, why did I try and hold that in? And when we're talking about life coaching and we help people release emotions, like we really do store emotions in our body in a physical way.
Absolutely. Our bodies vibrate differently when we're ill. Mm-hmm. And part of letting go is the purge.
Oh man.
And if we can just let go and go on this medicine and trust.
Yeah. Did you have any emotional experiences during that, or was it just a physical thing?
I've actually experienced Kambo a number of times
Okay.
since my first experience in Costa Rica. And my first experience was all physical.
Mm.
I did the ceremony. Part of the ceremony and how it goes is basically you have to create small little burns on the skin, itty bitty,
Tiny.
but that's how the medication is actually administered to the body,
right?
Is through these little burns. And so that's placed onto the medication's placed onto the burns, and away you go. And mine was very painful. As I sat and meditated, it almost felt like my arms and my fingers had just turned to terracotta. They were just hard and firm, and a little bit of cramping going on. And then the very last thing that occurred was this amazing, intense purge. And then after that, that's when the good feeling starts. You get all of that negative energy and those negative vibrations out of your body, and all of a sudden you just feel better.
So on subsequent uses with Kambo, you did have that emotional relief.
Did. I did. Do you remember when we had a group session with Kambo? Okay. So during that, it was really interesting. As I meditated into this Kambo medicine, doing plant medicine, I've created this real deep separation of body, mind, and soul.
Separation or connection?
Well, differentiation. How about that?
Okay.
Good. So a differentiation between body, mind, and soul, and how they work together. And it was very interesting. As soon as the medication got placed onto my skin, my soul said to me, "Mind, you owe this body an apology. And I'm going to step out of the way and let that happen."
Wow.
And it was about my mind communicating with my body and apologizing for putting it through such a serious addiction years ago, and the destruction that caused to my body that's now a healing.
Yeah.
But that was intense.
Wow.
To have my soul just kind of take the back seat and let my mind and body have that communication together.
I love that. I know one of the journeys you had, you said you kind of felt like you were taking your soul on a little journey in a backpack, right? Was that after Kambo?
Actually, that was after Kambo. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was, we went down, we did an intense hike down to Fossil Springs.
Yes.
And yes, I could just feel my soul just enjoying itself with me, walking around with it, almost like it was on my back and checking out everything. And it was wonderful. And I knew when my soul was tired and it was time to take a nap. And I could just picture
you just
this
felt very
little thing.
Connected with your inner self.
Yes. And I still continue to feel that connection.
That's so nice. And just, so you said you've gone multiple times.
Yeah.
Is that typical that someone would go several times in order, or does it depend on what healing they're trying to
it depends
have?
largely on what healing they're trying to have. I do know that it's time for some Kambo when I notice that, okay, my processed food consumption is starting to get a little out of control, or I'm spending a little bit more time scrolling on my phone. There's
Those
something
addictions.
Yeah, there's something hormonal going on in my body, and I feel like I need a reset.
I know the man that administered Kambo to us in that group session healed himself from Parkinsons with Kambo.
Yes. And this guy is just an amazing, gentle, and strong soul.
He was so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, were there any side effects at all? Because if we're comparing it to what's out on the market right now, the easy pill that the doctor is going to give you, and it's always a joke, right? Any pill that comes out on the market, they're like, may cause diarrhea and internal bleeding and death and all this.
It's insane.
Yeah. So like, what would be the side effects if you were going to have a commercial for Kambo? Would you have any side effects?
Yes, you do.
Treatment?
Yes, you do. So the immediate side effects would be,
well, the purge,
the lowering of your blood pressure, an increase of your heart rate. Your face may swell like you're going through an allergic reaction, and you may feel some tingling and buzzing throughout your body.
Yeah.
And of course, last but not least, the purge. But are there long-term side effects? Absolutely. Are they adverse? Not in the least. I just went and re-upped my Kambo 2 months ago, was it? Yeah. So I went down 2 months ago and did another plant-based journey, and they were offering Kambo ceremony. So I jumped in on one of those.
Huge difference, I've noticed.
When I came back, the idea of getting on my phone and scrolling, I had completely lost that desire. In fact, it annoyed me that I would ever have done that. When I looked at sugar, it would make me nauseous.
Yeah.
Where in the past, it's like, give me my dang bowl of cereal at night. I felt myself motivated to go out and do things that I hadn't done before. I mean, I bought a sewing machine and began sewing and fixing everything that might have broken or ripped around our house. And so it's all positive side effects for me, including migraine headache reduction.
Yeah.
That was a big one for me, and also big for other people that I've treated with Kambo.
Yeah, we're going to have actually an interviewee on very soon, Hannah.
Yep.
And she has been a chronic migraine sufferer over the years, and she's going to come on and tell us her story with Kambo.
And it's amazing because, like, imagine living every single day with a migraine headache and doing that for years.
It's debilitating and depressing. So, John, before we have Hannah on, if people are listening to this and they're like, wait, you did it for somebody else? Are you actively administering this?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you want to show us what you have?
Oh.
If you are watching this on YouTube, which we do have it on YouTube, you can see it in the show notes if you're listening on a podcast. John is going to show you what this looks like.
Well, and really all I can show you right now, I mean, I can show you obviously the vine that we use in order to actually administer the little burns.
It literally looks like a
sometimes it's just touched to the skin, and the skin is open just a little bit, and it heals most times without any marks at all. And then I order Kambo through a ethically sourced farmer that raises these frogs, and he extracts this venom from their skin by scraping it away, and then the frogs are set free. And they just create more. This does not harm the frogs in the least.
Right.
And so one frog can provide multiple doses of medication for people.
Show them this.
And now how I receive this Kambo is actually on, it looks almost like a paint stick. All right. But
yeah, it's like a flat, long stick.
But on this paint stick is a dried substance. It's the Kambo venom, and it's dried. So in order to add that to the skin, I just hydrate it a little bit with some pure water and then apply that to the skin. And away we go.
Yeah, nice. Okay. So you are actively doing this for others? Like if somebody emailed you, for instance, and said, hey, I really need
If you email me and you contact me, I'm happy to help, and I love to help. I'm so passionate about that. And let me help, please.
John really is so passionate about this, and seeing the relief he's been able to provide. He had someone come over for a few sessions that had a smoking addiction.
Yep.
And is he over that, or is it reduced?
50% reduction in his smoking, but moreover, what has happened with this man
in his life
is he crawled out of the hole that he was in, where he was just waiting to die. I mean, this is a gentleman that had been on antidepressant medications, antipsychotic medications for 25 years.
Wow.
And he finally said, enough is enough. Either I die or I try something else.
Wow.
So I invited him to the house, and we did 3 subsequent Kambo visits over 3 days. And the change that has occurred, he texts me every single day with things he's studying. He's on fire.
That's awesome.
And he's big into plants and herbal healing now as well. And
you can't help but become a believer when you see something that finally works.
No. He's like, I'm living now. I'm not surviving anymore.
Right.
How cool is that?
So awesome. Okay. Should we bring Hannah on?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Hey, it's Allison and John just popping into our podcast.
Yeah, just real fast. If you're enjoying this content, please scroll down and give us that 5-star rating and leave us a positive review.
Yes, please. And share your favorite episode on social media or with a friend.
This really helps us get the word out to more people.
Thanks. And back to the show.
Okay. So as promised, we were going to talk about Kambo, and, we wanted to bring Hannah on because Hannah has a really good experience to share with Kambo. And also it's part of her journey. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Hannah. What are you doing in life right now, and all that fun stuff?
Pretty much just working.
Okay.
I mean, I hunt a lot. I have 2 roommates. They're both family. So we're living together right now for about a year.
Way cool. And where are you from?
I'm from Sholo,
awesome.
Small town.
So you come from the mountains down here into the city.
Yes.
Tell me about life prior to Kambo, as far as what happened that made you want to seek something like this out.
It was rough. I did a lot of seeing doctors, medical treatments, taking medications daily.
Now, specifically, what were you trying to solve?
Just headaches in general. Pain.
What were your headaches like?
They kind of took over my day, what I did. It felt like it kind of took over my life. I couldn't do a lot of things with my family.
Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, your pain that you would feel with these headaches on a daily basis, what would you say you were?
It was miserable. It affected my vision. I didn't want to get out of bed.
Nausea?
Lots of it.
And how about your stress level?
Made it very high. I was always stressed.
So a lot of anxiety because of the headaches now, or with the headaches, but why were you feeling these feelings inside, would you say?
I think just not being able to find a cure, just knowing I always was going to get them, expecting them, and not really knowing what to do.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So we did this Kambo treatment for you. Now, how many times did we do that for you?
We did it twice.
We did it twice. Okay. And specifically, we were trying to go after these migraine headaches that you were having. So let's talk about that experience when you came over for the first time and we decided to do some Kambo. You started out with a daily fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So you came over, empty stomach, started drinking a lot of water, and then we applied the medicine.
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
It hit quick. I really never felt anything like that. It went like straight to my head, just super, almost like my head was like a balloon, I would say. Super weird feeling. Probably hit me within like 30 seconds, I would say.
So it was real fast.
Yes. Yeah.
And then how long did this discomfort that you were feeling last for you? Do you remember?
At least 30 minutes.
Yeah, about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Did that come with a purge?
Yes, very much so.
How bad was that?
It was not fun, pretty miserable. It lasted pretty much all the way up until you took the medicine off, I would say.
Now, before you got here, we talked, I had mentioned to Allison that, sometimes we have to choose our pain.
Yeah.
Now, you felt an intense pain for about 30 minutes or so. And you had this terrible, terrible purge. Was that worse than the migraine headaches you were experiencing every day?
Not at all.
Okay. And then what was the effect?
It was worth it in the end. Even while I would say I was purging, it just kind of felt like almost like a release to my entire body in general.
That's that energy that we talk about where when we're feeling something out of whack in our body, we have this vibration that goes on, and part of the purge is releasing that vibration and having the body reset.
Yeah.
So you felt some of that.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Way cool. And I remember talking to you the very next day after you had healed that day.
Yeah.
And what was the effect?
I just felt more clear. I felt like I had more energy. I slept better.
How was your head?
Night. And my head was perfectly fine.
Now, that lasted for a little while.
Yes. Yeah.
How long? I think it was about 6 weeks that lasted.
I think so. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, these migraines started creeping back a little bit.
Yes, I definitely. But it still was less than usual.
Even when you had a migraine, it was diminished symptoms.
Yes, not as bad.
So then after that, you're like, well, heck, let's do another one.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it really, that was encouraging to you. To not have to take a pill every single day to try to treat this thing, and then got the relief that you actually received from it.
Yeah, it was freeing.
So in the past, prior to Kambo, you had tried migraine medications.
Yes.
What were the effects of those?
It actually just kind of made me feel like almost like I was in a dark place. It would work for the actual headache I had, but I didn't feel good physically. In my head, just in a dark place and always tired, I would say. That
makes me so sad. And I feel that because I'm a fellow migraine sufferer, years of Imitrex and, basically every migraine medication underneath the moon. And it's like you take this pill and like the next day you're just in this depression.
Yes.
And it's terrible. Like you have a hard time functioning.
Yeah.
Even after that. So Kambo was different. So you felt more clear.
Yeah.
Capable of thinking. And I remember what you said. You said, I'm actually able to live my life.
Yes. That was like the biggest thing for me is I just felt like it took away so much of my life and what I wanted to do.
Now, I want to share this. You need to share this.
Okay.
Hannah had big goals, but these migraines were like, can I even accomplish these goals?
Yeah.
But what was it that you wanted to do?
My biggest one was go back to school to be a nurse.
Okay. And then after Kambo, What happened with that fear of going back to school?
I really didn't have the fear. I felt confident in going back.
It's so cool. It's amazing how it does that.
Yeah.
So, and then head into your second Kambo treatment. Was that more severe than the first one?
Not for a little bit until you added more medication.
We tend to do that as practitioners. It is important with Kambo that we do add to the medicine to where we can increase its effects.
Yes. So it was kind of like I was immune to the first little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the same thing, just purging. I kind of had to force it out a little bit the second time, but I still just pretty much purged the whole time.
Okay. And then the second effect, once again, we're going after these migraine headaches you were experiencing. How much relief did you receive for how long?
I can count on my hands how many headaches I've had since then.
Is that amazing to you?
Yeah.
And now, how long ago was that, Hannah? It's been what, 8 months?
Yeah.
And so 8 months, you can
That's
count
crazy.
the number of migraines you've had on your hands.
Yeah. Which would usually be within like 2 weeks.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. So if somebody were to consider Kambo, like what advice do you have for them?
I mean, it doesn't sound fun, but the pain of Kambo is beyond worth any type of thing rather than any medical treatment I've done to get the results I did get.
Pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, I would recommend it to anybody.
Way cool. Well, Hannah, is there anything else you want to add?
Not really. Thank you for letting me come on and share my story.
We are so grateful. And my hope is that this reaches more people. And listen, if you're interested in attempting this Kambo treatment, there are a lot of Kambo practitioners all over the United States. In fact, it's administered to over 100,000 people a year. And I'm just one of those practitioners and happen to be here in Mesa, Arizona. So if you are interested in this medication, feel free to reach out. We can put you in touch with people who have experienced this medication, or if you just want to give it a go and dive in, I'm happy to help. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you.
That was so nice to have Hannah here.
I'm so grateful that she came, and she's just one of these amazing success stories.
Yeah.
And you know what she didn't say is how much she has grown just in the last 8 months after receiving this Kambo medicine.
Just to be able to get that relief from her physical pain, and that helped her emotionally. And then it's just been springboarding her into like this new phase of her life.
It's been a total game changer.
Yeah, I'm so excited for her, and I'm so thankful for her coming on and sharing that. So what else do we need to share? I was going to ask you about like actual science. Like, is this just, a placebo, or is there actually proof out there that it's actually doing something?
Absolutely. You can go on, anything, the NIH website. There's a lot of research on Kambo. If you go Google Kambo, you actually might be afraid, because one of the number one searches that comes up in Google when you search Kambo is Banner Hospital. Mm-hmm. And Banner Hospital has a big beware of Kambo.
I can imagine why.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're cutting in with a medication that is more beneficial than the pills that can be prescribed.
Yeah.
And that naturally would scare the pharma.
I think it scares a lot of people in general because it's considered, I always think this is funny, it's considered alternative medicine. Although this has been around for thousands of years, and Big Pharma has been around for 100 plus years.
And how prideful are we to call medicine nowadays,
mainstream
medicine,
right?
And the other stuff, alternative medicine. I mean, right. Kambo is the OG.
It is. It's been around for so long. As we had said, administered to millions of people for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. And with the only side effects being that temporary elevated heart rate and temporary purge. It's like, man, why not? Like, why would you want to take a pill and just mask a problem or create more problems instead of just going after the problem and actually healing the body? I love that.
And the incidence of adverse side effects is so low by percentage than most medications you can take out there that you get from the pharmacy.
Yeah. So you were going to say like the scientific evidence.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I interrupted
I've got my own personal stuff, which is kind of fun. Okay. I mean, I could go out and quote literature to you all day long, but I have a really fun story about this.
Okay,
and
share.
That was when I came back from Costa Rica. not 2 weeks later, I got my blood read by Randy Grant here in town. He runs Divine Nature. Oh, if you want to get your blood read and
a live blood reading.
Oh my gosh.
He takes your blood and right there he puts it under a microscope and puts it and projects that onto the TV.
Yep. And so you can actually look at your cells in live stream.
Yeah. And he can tell you you're not digesting your proteins, or your red blood cells need more iron and all this. It's pretty amazing.
Even your cholesterol reads are so much more accurate because he's reading your cholesterol as soon as it comes out of the body. Now, if you go to any, blood place in town and get your blood drawn, they're probably not reading your blood results for days. And in that case, I mean, we do have some cell death that will naturally increase cholesterol. So, his results, I believe, are better.
Yeah, more accurate.
But what he was able to tell was the quality of my cells. Like he looked at my cells in some areas of the slide and said, okay, now I can see here that about a month ago you were ill. I was like, well, how can you say that? Well, these cell walls, they are not healthy. And I have these other cells over here that look like they're deficient in iron. But John, tell me what happened 2 weeks ago. And I was like, well, why? And he said, these cells right here, there were some blood cells that he was able to bring up on the slide. They're the most beautiful cells that I've seen in a long time. What happened 2 weeks ago?
He said they were plump and
yeah.
The way he described
my cells are so pretty.
Yeah, the way he described it, I felt like was like getting a tomato out of your garden at home. It's like plump and juicy.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. But I said, well, yeah, I went down and I did the ceremony and they administered this Kambo medication to me. And he says, well, whatever that was, it's working. So keep doing it.
Yeah.
Now,
pretty cool.
I just went through another blood read with another Kambo that I just had. And, traditionally, I tend to genetically be high in cholesterol, specifically high in LDL. I was borderline type 2 diabetic. And so, my triglycerides are out of scope, things that cause inflammation in the body. One Kambo treatment and then getting my blood read 4 days later, everything was in scope. I had aced my blood test. I've never aced a blood test. And so, this medication does work in healing the blood.
That's amazing. I love that you were able to see those results actually on film. They could actually see the change that was happening in your body to create more evidence for the healing that you were feeling. Because you can say all day long, oh, I threw up and then it was better. It's so much more than that, because it's like the peptides that are working in the body and all of that you're saying at the beginning of the podcast.
And it is healing body, mind, and spirit. I mean, you will have more motivation to do things. The body heals, and spiritually, it's good to actually feel that connection after a ceremony.
Love that. Okay. So like John mentioned before, if you're interested in Kambo, you can email him. His email will be down in the show notes, and he's happy to just open up a conversation, even if you're just curious about it. And our ultimate goal as a couple, we really want to start doing retreats where we can bring people into our home, do coaching sessions, do the Kambo treatment in conjunction with everything else that healing the mind, body, and spirit. So if you have questions, please go and ask us. If you know anybody that could benefit from this,
share the podcast with them.
You've got to know at least 10 people that are looking for healing in their life. And
sickness, whether that's mental or physical, everybody's got something.
Yeah.
And you never know unless you ask or share this podcast, whether or not it can help somebody that you love.
All right, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Like we had said before, we're coming out with a podcast now once a month. So if you press subscribe, you will be notified when those new podcast episodes drop. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, everybody.
Take care. Thanks for tuning in today.
We hope you found value in this podcast.
We have so much more for you over at our website at www.drjohnandallison.com.
Yes, we have some great coaching programs that include one-on-one coaching, group coaching, videos, and workbooks.
All the tools that you will need to make a positive change in your life.
We're here for you every step of the way, so just go to www.drjohnandallison.com to get started. The link is in the show notes.